grade dropout from the trailer park who's sitting in a prison cell. You're talking about a woman who's college educated, has an IQ of almost 160, has been everywhere in the world, can be with any man she wants to in New York. So what makes you think she's going to feel that way about you? So when she said it, it was such a relief that I couldn't write it back quick enough, and that's the only reason I remember it.
Yeah, because you're at a spot where there's not a lot of love going on. I mean, the emotional choices you had on a daily basis were pretty limited, I'm guessing.
Nothing but prison love, and you don't want that.
That's what I was thinking.
There are a few postscripts in the book, and again, I think maybe even less than half a dozen. I mean, there's a few spots where there's a few footnotes, but there's a few spots where there's an extended 5 or 6 paragraphs of explaining what the situation is, how things turned out. How did you resist the urge to make a postscript almost after every letter, or to guard against a misperception that someone might get reading again what is a uncensored long letter between you two?
Well, it was really hard for me because I mean, I look back on the letters that I wrote in 1996 and it's mortifying. I read, and then the postscripts I recognize that person, right? So it's almost 20 years later, but then I have to think, well, that's what happens. People grow up, and they mature, and they're not so crazy anymore because they're in a different situation. And we went through so much together in the course of all those years. It was really, and also I have to say, going back, it's like some of the letters, and I think we know, I didn't want any of those letters in there. I didn't want any of the really intimate letters. I took them all out. And Damien is just, and our editor is just like, Lori, if you're going to do this, you have to do it right, which means that you have to include everything that makes up a relationship, meaning, the heady love in the beginning, and even jealousy and joy and fighting and sex and all those things. So it was really hard for me not to come back in and try to explain everything because, some of the letters in there are kind of nutty.
There's not a lot of sex in the book, just so you know. But I mean, you do reference sometimes when you guys were going through a dark patch, as all relationships do. There's hints of it, but there's not. I mean, are there angry letters that were not in here? Or were those mainly in person?
No, there were. We came across letters that, the drama, there would be like tears.
But you guys did start having other means of communication, and actually, like the first 3 years is about half of the book, and then it gets smaller for the rest of the time together. Once you started speaking on the phone, once you started meeting in person, you mentioned already compartmentalizing the communication. What did you say for the letters? Or is it almost, when you look back at it, is it too bad you started talking in person because it meant the letters got shorter and less frequent?
I think what happened toward the end is that I think despair got the better of us, and the letters became. We started just trying to reassure each other, I think, that we were going to make it, that we were going to get through this, and that we could keep going. And I think that's kind of what happened. They changed a lot. We always talked on the phone, and we still wrote letters up until the very end. But I do think it had to do with despair.
It's one thing when you get to the end of the book, you realize that there's still, even after the last letter, there's still years to go before his release, and I guess we get to read these letters now knowing the ending of the story. While you were in it at a very dramatic time when the ending was completely unknown early on, I'll be out very soon, and it just keeps dragging on. But like anything, I guess you read these letters over and over again, and you get to obsess over the details. A lot of you want to get Bookstore. Does anyone have a question or two for our couple?